All right, Jeremy Porter, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me on, Dale. Great
Awesome.
chatting.
Yes. So let us just get rolling and tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Jeremy Porter from Utah, pretty much born and raised. And while I was in school at BYU, I started an organization called Tidey Ocean. We've been running for 5 years now, so we started in 2021. I finished school and then I went full time working on this, and we've grown a lot in the past about year, and the focus of what we do is working in Guatemala, collecting ocean and ocean-bound plastic. And we use that to create jobs for people in impoverished communities there. We do a gig economy style collection, so we pay the collectors in the areas that we're in by the pound. It's kind of a micro entrepreneurship model. We have collectors that'll set up neighborhood routes. They'll get their neighbors to give them their trash. They'll go around. So there's a lot of different ways that they can kind of structure the way that they collect the plastic, and allows them to increase their income based on the different systems they set up. So we really love the social impact work that we're able to do in those areas. And we have a whole system dedicated to long-term improving the livelihoods of our collectors. We also do beach and river cleanups, and we'll do content around that to kind of raise awareness of the ocean plastic crisis, just how bad it is and kind of the problems it's causing. But yeah, we have a huge focus on cleaning up that plastic and helping those communities that we work in.
Awesome. So you're in year five for 4 years. Tell us more about the build up to that and maybe some of the perspective that you had in year one, year two versus four, about to turn the corner, and five now. Like, can you walk us through
Yeah,
that a little bit?
yeah. We had a really slow growth period. So we started in 2021, and honestly, we looking back at it now with like lean startup principles, like we shouldn't have launched when we did. Like we should have like proved the concept, like just found donors before we'd grown. But my wife and I funded the whole operation in Guatemala for about 3 years. So we were like, so like all of my savings, all my wife's savings, and like the extra income from my wife's job, we were putting all of that to keeping things running in Guatemala. And it was, it was kind of a crazy time. Built my faith a lot. We had so many times where we were like to the last dollar, like we're just scrounging up any dollar, and something always came through, like right when we needed it. Something came through so many times. I can't even tell you how many times that happened. So it was really really great. We learned to be very frugal, between like the food that we eat, like never going out to eat, the cars that we drove, like just everything, like really minimized expenses because we had to send so much down. And that was good. It was fun. Like we had, like I'd go to trade shows and I slept in a U-Haul van one time instead of a hotel because it was just too expensive for a hotel, and like that, and that worked out and had some fun experiences there. But yeah, so about a year and a half ago, yeah, things kind of turned
Okay,
a
hold
corner.
on, hold on
Yeah.
1 second. So I want to just pause you right there. 3.5 years, you're sleeping in the U-Haul, which really speaks to my soul, actually. Like, I love things like that.
Yeah.
I went to a trade show once and I talked to my friend. I said, hey, we can spend $100 in a hotel room, or we can just go to the sporting goods store. It was Minnesota in the winter. We can
Nice.
go to a sporting goods store and just buy sleeping bags and keep them and bring them home. What should we do?
Yep.
And we just in the rental car slept with our sleeping bags. But so I've never slept in a U-Haul,
It's a
which
good way to do it. Yeah, it's 20
that's
bucks a night.
really smart. That's so funny.
Yeah, it's it.
Amazing. So how why I want you to go real quick and then we'll jump back to where we were going. Why did you and your wife funded you were spending your personal money? Uh, why did you do that?
I'd wanted to be an entrepreneur for a long time, and I kind of, I did a few ventures, and we had a little bit of success, but nothing like, I mean, we kind of failed. And I realized that if I'm going to spend my time like dedicated to a business or building something, like I didn't want to like spend every day, all day, 80 hours a week working on something. And then 10 years later, like it just fails, and nothing really came of it. But I realized if I was working on something that made the world a better place, like actively, um, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter if we fail and we have to like shut down today. Like I'll still feel like it was worth it. Partially also like you learn a ton starting a business, but just like the impact in people's lives, like is really cool to see. And so I don't have any regrets. I knew that I wouldn't have regrets. So I think that's the main thing. Also, it is just fun, like kind of like that adventurous spirit, like just like um, it is like it's kind of more fun, like that constraint of like the budget. Like how do you make things happen on a low budget? Like I do enjoy that, and I like the challenge of being frugal, and um, so I don't know, I didn't mind it that much. Like I'm kind of proud of my $500 car that I drive, and like I like, yeah, I don't know, kind of strangely take some pride in like being able to save money and like find scrappy ways to do things. So I mean, I know like you do a lot of stuff like that, so
Hmm.
kindred spirits there. But yeah.
Yeah. No, it totally. I love it, and I'm scrappy, and I want to teach my skills to my children to be frugal and appreciate what they have, and to be able to be scrappy. And sometimes where I get hurt, and or maybe it's a downside for me, and can be for a lot of people like us, maybe, is that to um, certain things that you should invest in more heavily and scale more quickly or whatever, right? There's just things that come from this, like, hey, it's going to work out, and I don't really have to worry about some of the constraints, which is what you did, I think, with this, you know, abundance mindset of jumping in and doing it and doing everything you have and going to the last dollar and having things come in and fix what you've got. I think that's the the tight wire, the
Yeah.
tightrope to walk. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we need to be scrappy because we need to be responsible. We also need to, you
Spend
know,
money in.
you have this like 10x is easier than 2x, grow by, whatever,
Yeah.
this big grow thing, paired with, hey, be scrappy and make sure that it always works. It's kind of a
Yeah.
balance.
Yeah, that's something I think we made some mistakes because of that. Like we should have, because we were funding operations for so long. If we'd invested more upfront into like marketing or something like that, like I think that would have just made everything else easier. But it's hard with marketing. Like you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work, and so it's scary. And just the frugal mindset, like my wife and I are both frugal, and so just yeah, the idea of spending money, like it's business expenses are so different from personal finances, right? Like personally, you can just try to cut expenses everywhere you can. Whereas with a business, you have to spend money to make money, and so that's kind of a hard mindset to shift
Yeah.
out of. But yeah, it is tough.
Well, take us. So after 3.5 years, you started to get some traction. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, we, a big part of that is because we switched from for profit to nonprofit. Right around that time, we ran into a few opportunities where people told us like, if you were a nonprofit, like we could fund you, give you a grant or different things. We could work with you. And so we'd heard that for a while, and people, and honestly, a lot of people gave me that feedback. Like Todd Peterson from Vivint, he told me years ago that I should do a nonprofit, and I should have listened to him. So if you're listening, Todd, you were right. So I just, yeah, I didn't listen. We kind of went. We wanted to show that business could be used for good, which is great, but there's disadvantages of being a nonprofit. And so yeah, we were able to get some of those opportunities to come through once we did turn into a nonprofit. Some of them we'd missed, and we still haven't been able to take advantage of. And we kind of missed that window of opportunity because we weren't ready at the time. But yeah, so it really, it kind of took a burden off when things did start coming in and we were able to grow and we had some money to do some things. And it also just allowed us to increase our impact a lot and start focusing on that. Like we were just in survival mindset for so long, just trying to do what we had to do to survive. And now we can actually like look at really maximizing impact and kind of being more strategic. And so it's been fun to be able to have that shift. It's still like the survival mindset is still kind of there because it's like, okay, like, what happened like 2 years, like what if we lose a big donor, so we're trying to prepare for that always. And I think that's probably a good mindset to have as an entrepreneur, right? But yeah, just trying to be more abundance mindset focused now.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. When we were at the ISPO show in Germany together, you had a mentor that went there with you that was kind of a business coach. Tell us more about that. You've probably found people along the way who've wanted to just help you without any
Yeah.
any compensation.
Yeah, it's been cool to see. This guy, there's an ISPO. He just really loves helping businesses. So he's got, I don't know, like 20. Most of them are from like BYU or different colleges that he's involved with. And he just meets with them once a week and mentors them and visits places with them. And he's come to Guatemala with me a couple times. And he's had some success. And so it's good. I do have to remember to take things with a grain of salt, because things have shifted a lot in business, but it's just great to have a sounding board and have that accountability. And so it's been really great. But yeah, we've also had a lot of people from all over reach out and say that they love what we're doing and they want to help out. And so we've filled up like our board of directors, like for the nonprofit seats, with just people that have reached out wanting to help. And it shows me that I need to talk about what we do more. Like I've kind of, like any business I've started, I've kind of always been shy about talking about what I'm working on, and like it feels too personal. And I'm bad at like posting. Like it feels too vulnerable to like post and to like talk about these things. And but when I do, like we've had great people come in and want to help, and so it does show that I do need to more proactively like be willing to be vulnerable and just share things that are going on. And it's really hard for me, but I've been working on getting better at it. And that's a little bit of a tangent, but I started doing TikTok videos partially because I was like, I don't know anybody on TikTok, so like nobody that I know is going to see it. And it like helped me, like it gave me the space to share and like not worry about family or friends seeing it. And that's helped a lot. And we've had some cool opportunities and some cool reach and engagement from TikTok. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it's been good.
My advice would be keep pushing through that, because there's nothing tacky or self-promoting about cleaning up an ocean beach. Like it's just cool.
Yeah,
It's like, wow, so cool. Thank you. Even just by me watching
yeah,
that, it's as if I had a little part of it, or liking, be like, I cleaned up the beach too. I've got
yeah,
80,000 subscribers on or followers or whatever they call them on TikTok. But
yeah. Follow it.
that is awesome. So I'm going to explain to everybody what the Tidy does, and then you can fill me in because you just told me. And I knew a bit because Grand Trunk's done a little bit with Tidy. You've
Yeah.
kind of collaborated a little bit. It's like a gig job, like driving Uber to go and pick up trash, and they get paid per pound of trash that they pick up. And you have an incentive system even where someone can get like a chicken or pig or other things. So you're focused a lot on helping them like learn to fish through that.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah, like long term benefits. And it's not a handout. Like everybody's working super hard for this. And so yeah, absolutely, like not a handout. And it's things that are going to help them learn to be self sufficient over time. And just in so many different ways. But yeah, that nails it. I mean, that's our focus. The only other thing that we do is cleanups. We'll do beach and river cleanups, and those are like on TikTok. That's what gets most engagement, and so I kind of call it like a bait and switch. Like we try to bait people in with like these river cleanups, and then we show them like, okay, like that's great, like it's great to clean a river, but like more importantly, like the real impact is what happens in the communities where we can collect it before it goes in the river, before it goes into the ocean, and like the impact we can have in the communities
Yeah.
there.
So how do you discourage against people collecting their own trash?
It's actually not a problem. So we work in areas where 100% of the trash is mismanaged. So um, all the trash that is used is either going to be burned openly, like they'll just rake it up and burn it, like on the streets, or if anybody that's been in third world countries, like that's really common. Even the landfills, most landfills are burned openly, unless it's like right by a ravine or a river, and then it just flows into the river. So all the waste is mismanaged. There's no ethical, other than recycling, there's no ethical disposal. So anything that they want to collect that is recyclable, we tell them what to collect. So it's certain types of plastic, just anything that we can sell,
It's all
and
fair
that helps.
game.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't. they can absolutely do their own trash, but their own trash is going to be like 0.1% of their total collection for most people.
How much trash have you gathered over the years?
Yeah, we actually just hit 1 million pounds. So yeah, that's 1 million pounds, and we are going to do about 1 million pounds in the next 12 months. So it took like 5 years to do 1 million pounds, and then in the next 12 months we'll do about a million. Hopefully we can hit 1 million in the next 12 months. So yeah, been able to grow quite a bit, and it's not a lot compared to like some other big organizations, but
Yeah.
like per dollar spent and per pound collected, like we think our impact metrics are really strong, and yeah.
So if someone wanted to like, hey, for every order we want to collect a pound of garbage. So we're going to pay Tidy 20, some amount. Tell me the amount per
Yeah,
pound.
yeah.
Do
Oftentimes
you,
of one
do you tell
pound
that
per
publicly, or
product.
is it all different?
Yeah, a lot of people do like 1 pound per product sold.
Okay.
Or you can do like a plastic neutral certification, which is common in like the CPG space. So for the like offsetting the use of their plastic,
Mm,
that's the other thing, and that's going to be most packaging is going to be quite a bit less than a pound.
yeah.
But yeah, and then we have an app that we partner with that you can integrate the app into your Shopify store, and it has like widgets and dashboards, and you can also do like if they leave a review, you'll fund another pound collected, and if they share with their friend, like different things, like you can do kind of
Yeah.
incentivize different things through that
I
app.
love that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to Paul at Grand Trunk on my team about what is it that we could do, even limited promotions or something
Yeah, yeah,
around
even
that would
even
be
one
really cool.
product. Yeah, we love collaborating, and even just to get awareness, like working with great brands and kind of together being able to share the story is great. Like we love that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so if anybody out there has a brand where they want to also clean up ocean plastic, we usually do this at the end, but what's your contact for them to email you?
Yeah, Jeremy at tidyeocean.org, and it's tidy Tidey ocean.org. So
Okay.
yeah, reach out there on our website tidyeocean.org. You can find us too, or LinkedIn.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so how did you stay motivated for the 3.5 years of exhausting all of your personal funds and having limited traction?
Yeah, that's a good question.
And did
You
you
know,
ever
I
almost quit? I'm curious too. Like, just what did that
yeah,
look like? Did you ever almost throw in the towel? Did you
yeah.
even think about it?
So once we launched, I never did consider quitting. The only thing that was an option was I did think about getting a job to bring in money, so we had like an income, and then like just funding it on the side. And once I saw the impact, like I didn't really want to let it die ever. But before I got started, so I worked on it. I actually researched this for several years before we launched. And I hit a pretty big phase of burnout, um, like the year before we launched. So I went to Hawaii during COVID and just lived in a van and took. That's where I got the U-Haul van living idea from. Like we lived in a van in Hawaii, and
You and your wife lived in a van in Hawaii.
it was before I was married. So me and a roommate, me and
Okay,
a
cool.
friend, and it was great. It was awesome. But I was pretty burnt out in that time period, and I had like no motivation to work on it. But while I was there, someone from the BYU Rollins Center Entrepreneurship Center reached out, and he offered for some MBA students to work on the business. Like they had to help out a student business. And so I started meeting with those MBA students, and it kind of gave me the boost that I needed. Like, honestly, it probably wouldn't exist today if I hadn't been reached out to by that advisor and had the help from the MBA students. And even like the help was great, but we didn't really know like a good direction of what to work on. But the just like kind of having that structure and having like changing the mindset, like, oh, we can do things. Like it just felt like we could make progress. And I just felt like I wasn't making any progress for so long. That like totally changed it. Like that was a pretty pivotal point. And then we launched actually we launched just a couple months later after that. So like I was really close to giving up when I was in Hawaii. That was in March, and then in June we launched. So yeah, like
Wow.
a pretty pretty impactful like intervention from that experience. And but yeah, after that, really seeing the impact. Like every time I went down and met with the people we were working with, I just was like so inspired to keep going. I really wanted to be able to do more every time I met with them. So, and like I knew that it could work. Like I knew that we had like what we were doing was impactful. We just weren't able to like market it properly or sell it correctly.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. It's amazing how a single phone call can make such a big difference like that. When you look back, you're like, hey, I probably wouldn't have done it had they not reached out and done that. It sounds like you've been relatively inspired uh, for a big part of this.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like I have been, and I think when I've had moments of kind of waning enthusiasm, like a trip down to Guatemala, like I go a few times a year, like that's always what kind of would remotivate me.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was, I definitely got just the sheer amount of things that have to be done. Like in entrepreneurship, I think most entrepreneurs experience this where it's like the to-do list is just so long that
Hmm.
it's like I don't like that has been hard at times where it's like what's the point in like doing things when like the to-do list is like it never seems to get smaller. And so like not seeing that progress can be hard. And yeah, hard to stay motivated because of that sometimes, but trying to get better at just focusing on one thing at a time. Like let's just knock off a couple things, like there's always more. But just yeah, kind of taking it a little bit at a time is helping.
Hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. And your wife's been super supportive, it sounds.
Yeah, she's been great. She's another huge piece of how we've been able to do this. Like she's all in, like
Yeah. Yeah. And I
financially.
guess
And
supportive is kind of underselling it. She's been a pivotal piece in making it happen with you.
yeah, she's been, yeah. And I mean, I don't know if she knew what she was getting into when we got married, but she's, we've been very frugal, and she's been fine with it, and she's been great. And yeah, just helped a ton. So yeah, it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Cool. Do you have any like daily, weekly routines that help you?
Yeah. I try to exercise. Like that's a pretty um, impactful piece for me, and I like to I'm fairly competitive. So I like to play like sports, like basketball. I'm on a hockey team. On a Just broke my nose on a ultimate frisbee team, so it's actually a little bit off still if you can see that on the video. Yeah, so I think that's big. Like I think just like the mental break from that. Also being able to like work from home and like spend like see like my kids and my family, like my wife so much is great. Like it's really easy to like intersperse, like a walk or playing with them throughout the day, and that's great. Um, and So yeah, I think just like trying to take it, uh, kind of trying to like day by day see what's needed. Like is it most like is it going to be better to like go play with my kids for 30 minutes or try to pound out some more work. I don't know. That's kind of I don't do a lot of structure. Like it's not like every 15 minutes of my day is planned.
Yeah.
I'll try to do like maybe like set a timer. This is something I've learned from you. Like set a timer and track what I'm doing throughout the day, and like see where I can improve. But even just setting a timer and like just gonna focus for 30 minutes is good. But yeah,
Yeah, cool. Do you do any sort of like in a weekly basis? Is there any like rituals or routines that you follow that you find helpful?
yeah. We have set meetings that are good, like kind of just good strategy meetings with like the team in Guatemala, and then like doing a weekly planning is good. But a lot of it does come from like monthly meetings. Like we have a lot of set. Like I have that weekly mentorship appointment, so preparing for that like that always kind of gets me thinking about like, okay, what's the most important things to focus on because I have to report on that. Every time we have a meeting with the team, that kind of forces me to like think about, okay, like what do we need to do in country, and so kind of like designing those things into the routine, because if I didn't have like a set meeting, like yeah, I'd probably just forget about planning the week or planning the month.
Yeah.
So, but there's that accountability built in, like that's what keeps it working. That I prepare for those things.
Yeah. It's amazing how powerful it seems like, well, duh, right? But it's easy to not to have a certain meeting. Even today at Grand Trunk said, oh yeah, we introduced this 15-minute Monday sales catch up, the sales update meeting with the sales guy and the rest of the team. They're like, oh, that was really helpful. Some of those structures,
Yeah.
repeatable weekly structures to put into your business flow.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of having those, and then just like not having the meeting go any longer than is needed. Like if it takes 5 minutes, like it's 5 minutes and you're done. Like there's no reason
Yeah.
to, I think there's a lot of like kind of anti-meeting sentiment, and there's good reason for that. But I think having it set and then just letting it be short if it needs to be
Yeah.
short, is
That's
a good
cool.
way to do it. Yeah.
The one I don't know if you've read Patrick Lencioni's Death by Meeting book,
No.
but it's a really good one, and it talks about the importance of meetings actually,
Hmm.
and lays out different types of meetings that are helpful for you to have as an organization. Uh,
Yeah, that's
it's
cool. Yeah, I'll have to.
I've read
Yeah,
it a few times. It's a good read.
yeah. I will have to write that down and look it up. It's
Yeah,
yeah,
Death by Meeting.
that's cool that it's talking about the importance of meeting
I know,
with
right?
that title. You wouldn't think so.
What do you foresee over the next couple years? Like where when Tidey is fully grown, and maybe that's not 2 years, maybe it's five or whatever. Like what does it look like? And what does that growth curve look like for you, you think?
Yeah, we obviously like we think that our impact could be done all over the world. There's tons of places we'd love to expand to, and so it's kind of just a matter of like funding, like how much funding can we get. But some of the things that like and we one of the big things that we want to accomplish is making our operations like self-sustaining in country, where the revenue from the recycling is enough to like sustain the business. So it's kind of more of a social business than like a traditional nonprofit. Like we're not dependent upon donors, and there's a few things that we need to do to get there. And part of that is we want to kind of do some of our own manufacturing, like manufacture some like little like carabiners or like just different things that we can like integrate. Like we've talked to a paddleboard company that would integrate like a carabiner or something from our operations in, and working with businesses that want to buy the plastic that we collect, and they can kind of share that as like ethically sourced ocean bound plastic, doing some things like that, and then just improving and growing our operations like at scale. We will have we'll be a lot more efficient, and so those things can get us a lot closer to being self-sustaining. And then the impact that we can do is a lot also more self-sustaining, and we can like donor dollars can go directly to all these really impactful long-term things rather than just funding the day-to-day operations and the daily wages.
Yeah.
And that's kind of if you've ever seen the other side of Academy,
Yeah. They're
really
awesome.
cool stuff they're doing, and they've done really great at that, like having impact built into their like operations and their business funds most of what they do. And so that's kind of our goal is to be self-sustaining in that way. But yeah, I think we would. There's a ton more that we'd like to do in Guatemala. There's a lot more that we'd like to do in other countries. But there's also we're seeing a lot of other kind of side business things like that would be impactful in these countries that like we might kind of branch out and like do some of these other things.
Hmm.
And that's maybe like I have a problem of like having too many ideas, and so I need to like force myself to focus. But yeah, there's some really cool things that we could do. And we may, if the opportunity presents itself and we have the bandwidth, and maybe if we have a board member come on that wants to help build out those programs, we may like kind of split and start doing some other programs also. Um, so not
Well,
nothing.
tidy is also just tidying up. I'm sure you can
Yeah,
clean up anywhere. I don't know.
it could be. Yeah, we could broaden
Like the
the.
tide, or it's tidying up.
Yeah, just kind of keep it broad, and yeah, it's it's cool. I'm diving deep into like all the different nonprofits and like all these different ways to have impact and affect change in these areas, and it's cool to see like all these innovative things that people come up with, and I think we're in a good place to do some of those things also. Like we can integrate a lot of different things in. So I don't know. I got to be careful to not be too broad and expand too much like what
Yeah.
we do. But yeah, I think it makes sense for some of the things.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, it's always been fun to see you at different trade shows. I ran into you at the Surf Expo in
Yeah,
Florida a few years ago, or at ISPO in Germany. To see you out there pounding the pavement, hustling. And it's even cooler to see that you're now like winning, and and it's a sustainable business that can pay you, and you can keep collecting trash, and that you're not paying for it out of your family savings account anymore.
yeah,
Is really impressive, because a lot of people don't fully launch, or it's hard to launch something like that. So props to you. And I think all that frugality, it makes it easier to give. It's way easier to give money to a frugal person that knows how to guard dollars, than somebody. So like that wiring, I'm sure, instills confidence in other people.
yeah.
Um,
Especially in the nonprofit space, definitely. But yeah, I heard a quote. Someone came to speak to one of my Rollins Center BOU classes, and they said sometimes in business you just have to survive until you get lucky. Like he's like we didn't do like we were tiny forever, and then they got a lucky break and grew a ton overnight. And so that's something I've kind of thought about. Like we have to survive until we get that lucky break, and you work for those lucky breaks. But I don't know, I like that quote.
yeah. Well, like I mentioned before the call, I really want to do an adventure together, maybe a river cleanup, something.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'd
let's
love
make it
to.
happen,
Yeah,
and we'll find a date. Otherwise, it's been really good to visit with you, Jeremy, and I'm stoked to see where you go in the future.
sounds good. Thank you, Dale. We'll be in touch for sure.
Awesome.
Okay, have a good one.